Hello, everyone, and welcome to the monthly read. This is Asanya Estelle on your Patreon. If you're on Patreon, you're getting this at the beginning of the month. If you are on YouTube, you're getting this at the end of the month or next month. And it is December 2025, the last month of the year, the last card reading of the year, of this Hermit year, of this 2025 year, moving into the Wheel of Fortune, moving into 2026. And if you are on YouTube and you want to get this video early, as well as access to asking me individual questions every month for individual card pulls, then you can join Patreon, where you can join for as little as $1 and as much as $10 or as much as you want, because I think there's like a tipping feature. And that's where the most affordable, accessible readings from me come from. Now, this is the monthly read for December 2012. 2012. 2025. It is not 2012 anymore. But I'm sure that has some significance for me. Maybe it has some significance for y'all too. Just trying to see who's trying to play the game. Okay. Oh, I knew this. Really? Both? Really? Okay. So, folks, the reason that I was like that is because I am being told I'm writing a tarot book, a book about tarot, about the history of tarot, called The Cultural Roots of Tarot. And in the process of doing all the research and the writing for the book, I am reading a lot about historical decks. And two of those historical decks are Writer's Waite-Smith deck, which this Teller version of tarot is a version of that deck, and also the oldest known fully intact tarot deck called the Sola Busca Tarot. This deck is very much unlike the Waite-Smith or the Mercier, and most pictures are rather grotesque, so you've been warned. We're just gonna see what there is to see about this, because I've never pulled either of these cards for a monthly read or anything before. I bought them. Well, one, the Teller was given to me during my Soho House residency by a patron who makes the deck. So shout out to the patron who gave me the Teller deck. Trying to see if there's a name here. I don't see a name. It's just, I think they're just actually the designer for Teller, the company. So there's that, okay? And then the Sola Busca I bought specifically for research purposes, so I could look at it side by side with the Writer's Waite-Smith and with the Visconti Sforza and the Mercier, so that I could know more about like the iterations and the versions of which there are many. So it's always funny when someone claims they created something that took countries, generations, continents, innovations to create. So we're going to see what there is to see here. I'm also going to see what kind of spread this is. I also don't know if I remember the right card. Is this the Speak, Listen, Key card reading? Okay, this is a Speak, Listen, Key card reading. If you're new here, that means that the left column, which is 2 cards, is what there is to know. And the right column, which is 2 cards, is what there is to do with what there is to know. And then the last 2 cards, separate from them on the right side, are the master keys, both the the key cards, not the master key, but the key cards of one, which is the master key card. The skeleton key that unlocks all the doors, and the other one is the keystone, which holds up the whole building. If you know about the keystone, it's like the one stone that dislodged would cause the tower to crumble, so to speak. Okay. Oh Lord, what cards the Sola Busca give us? Because okay, so let's get into it. What is the monthly read for December? Okay. You know, ooh. Okay, so we start with the, for whatever reason, this is not privy to the light. Okay, so we start with the 9 of Cups here in the Teller, right? Typical Waite-Smith version. I took out writer because writer is the publisher, I realized, and Waite-Smith are the designers. So, Nine of Cups, yes? Nine of Cups, self-satisfaction, meeting your own needs, soothing yourself, understanding what is required, what's next. It can also, of course, be selfishness or be perceived as selfishness, because there's a quality of putting on your mask first and knowing what to do so that you can live in the most authenticity, and so that everybody around you on an emotional level, because we're dealing with cups, is able to react in according to the authentic truth, right? So they know what's going on with you, they know who you are, they know what's there, what's happening, what the potentialities are, and they can make an informed decision about whether they are your people or not. Yeah. Now, folks, this is followed by the devil. Okay. The devil. Okay. So what I will say is, satisfaction. I mean, satisfaction should be its own reward, meaning like the embodiment of the thing should be the thing we're seeking after, right? Like the point of taking a bath is being in the bath. The point of reading cards is reading the cards. The point of loving someone is loving them, right? So when we see the devil, I don't know why the Dutch version keeps coming out my mouth, but when we see the devil after the Nine of Cups, to me, it's like, satisfaction should be its own reward. If it's not, then that would mean that the details are, there's more detail. The details are obscured from you, is what I was going to say. Because if you are satisfying yourself and that does not actually lead to satisfaction, sorry, that's the same word. If you are doing something, taking an action, embodying something, and out of a belief that it will bring you some sort of joy, pleasure, peace, resonance of preference, but then it doesn't actually feel that way while you're doing it, and it doesn't actually have that result after it's done, and it's actually not reflecting that to you in your experience, then it's not that. It doesn't have that result, at least for you. It can have that result for somebody else, but it may not be in alignment for you as a cause and action. So as you're discovering what's for you, as you're satisfying yourself, as you're filling your cup and drinking from it, figuring out what is the contents of those choices are what provides nourishment, what needs to be given, what needs to be acknowledged, and whether it allows you to actually authentically feel like you're perceived as a person. But it's not so much about being perceived, it's more like about filling out that space, feeling content in your existence, because Nine of Cups is about self-satisfaction, self-contentment, right? This ability to know what it takes to fulfill oneself, one's own desires and one's own needs. So temptation through the devil, or choices through the devil, if we want to talk about the spectrum of reality, there is nothing if you know what you prefer. You just keep choosing in the direction of your preference, and you keep saying no thank you, no thank you, no thank you, no, no, no. And let's talk about the devil archetype, right? Because the devil archetype is also someone who may be conniving and tricky and convincing and sneaky, but they want you to submit of your own accord. Like the devil archetype wants you to just submit to the power. If it wanted to just whoop your ass, it could, because it's like an archetypal energy, right? But it doesn't lay hands on you without consent. But once you give consent to this thing, right, it's like, now I have at you. So you want to make sure that whatever you're doing is something that when it has at you, you actually like get satisfaction out of that. Now we move on to what there is to do about what there is to know. The cards don't want to change. Of course, my goodness, this card's haunting the people. We have Judgment. I mean, I'm sorry. Oh, there we go. Oh, maybe it's the way I'm holding it. We have Judgment. So, this card, I think, came up like a few months ago, or even in the last 2 months. And I think with this card, it's about necessary critique. When I say necessary critique, I mean it's relevant. And the reason it's relevant is because it has application, and having application when applying it it helps resolve the circumstances, right? It helps like create resolution in the circumstances, because it's not judgment for judgment's sake. Like, we're not just trying to listen to everyone's negative opinions all day. No, I mean, maybe some of us do, but that's consensual. The difference is not needing to have such an opinion, letting it arise if it happens, of course, not sublimating, my goodness, not sublimating your actual genuine feelings, but at the same time not fostering feelings that you don't prefer, right? Like with cups, I usually say emotional intelligence is a 5-step process, right? Step 1 is you feel away because it comes with the human being packaging. Step 2 is you recognize you feel away because you're the only person in your head. It's very important you don't gaslight yourself. It's very important you acknowledge your own needs and your own preferences. Step number 3 is recognizing that you're feeling away. You think back on your personal history and you consider the people, places, locations, behaviors, and things that have helped you feel that way in the past, if you've ever felt that way before. Step 4, to me, the most important step, you either look at yourself in the mirror, you point at yourself and you say, do the me of now, do I like feeling this way? And depending on how you answer that question, which you need to do as honestly as possible, step 5 is now you need to take an action. So if I need to take an action and I know I like feeling that way, then I'm going to invoke more of the people, places, locations, behaviors, and things that help me feel that way of their own volition and consent whenever it is accessible and possible for me to do so. And if I don't like feeling that way, I'm going to take an action that helps me not be around the people, places, locations, behaviors, and things that help me feel ways that I do not like whenever that's within my control and I have the ability to consent. Yes? So judgment is about applying our emotional intelligence with wisdom and with maturity, and not with diversion or distraction or denial of our own responsibility, because it's not our job to be the judge. Our job is to know what we would prefer for ourselves and act according to that, so that no matter what anybody else is doing, when we're asked to be held accountable to our own actions, we are self-aware of them. And last but not least, in the what there is to do about what there is to know, we have the 8 of Pentacles. And, the 8 of Pentacles underneath judgment is also, we're all mastering something here. And whatever anybody else might be failing to do or trying to sabotage, your ability to master your own ability, your own self-worth, your own autonomy, your abilities, what you can and can't do, what you will and won't do, is what you're assigned to, right? You're assigned to yourself. So as long as you're doing that with authenticity, with as much consciousness, awareness, willingness, as much accountability and responsibility and support and sustenance as you can, then you're in a situation where you are going to make your way from novice to apprentice to master, no matter what happens. And that is how you allow yourself to be the most, useful version of yourself in any given situation. Useful to you, right? If I were the version of myself that I most preferred to be, would that version of me have responded in the same way that this version of me did? Useful to you, but also useful to other people, because in your authenticity, they have a clear reflection of who you are that helps them know more authentically who they are, and then they can make more authentic choices from that solid ground, right? Okay. Now we're running into a Sola Busca. Okay. So for our master key, which does not want to change, we have the 4, or is it 9? I believe this is the 4 of Cups, but the number's throwing me off a little bit. I believe this is the 4 of Cups because maybe I can pause. Hold on, I'm going to pause and check. I affirm it is 4. Okay, so we have the 4 of Cups. The Sola Busca is not illustrated in the way of the Waite-Smith. Pamela Coleman Smith did take some nuances from the Sola Busca, but a lot of it is her own design. And the Four of Cups is obviously not what we're accustomed to, but we know the energy of this, right? So better is not behind. The energy is not to look back and think about all the things you coulda, woulda, shoulda done. The energy is to understand, like, that if the things in the past that you didn't know that you could want are things that are now behind you, then there are things in your future that you don't yet know that you want that are in front of you, right? Like, it's a stream of experience, and it is not, there's no destination other than your experience. So if you're still having an experience, that means that more of what you have come to enjoy is in front of you, and that it cannot all be behind you because you didn't even know that the things behind you were there at one point. So it's more about appreciating that there's always more there than you can acknowledge, right? And now I'm going to check this next card before I do this, because I only have a minute left to describe things, because I have no space on my phone. Okay, my God, it's the Two of Cups. I had to look through all of them to be sure. Okay, so then we have the Two of Cups, right? Now, the Two of Cups as the keystone is about finding the alignment, the equilibrium that comes from you pouring from a full cup and someone else pouring from a full cup, and there being replenishment always through the authentic experience and the self-sustaining experience of authenticity and integrity, right? Where the definition of power is the ability to be your authentic self. And there's this quality of self-satisfaction of, like, you need to know the self to understand how to satisfy the self, right? But the Two of Cups is also about using your emotional intelligence and your experience in your relationships with people to understand whether there is actual equilibrium or alignment between you based on the experience of being those selves. So not holding back that self and not denying the other individual selves, but seeing if there's a natural compatibility there. Thanks for being here.